Hi guys, welcome to the Team Panacea call. I hope you're watching the recording because there's only like 3 of you here live. But we do this call every Tuesday night. And tonight, I'm super excited. We've got Joy Bowen on the call, and Joy is going to be talking to us about what she's done to build her business. And, you know, the accolades, I don't have them in front of me anymore, but I copied and pasted it, and it's in there. And it's pretty impressive. And I've been able to work with Joy a little bit, and you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area too, right? I mean, it used to be kind of like Beachbody Hollywood. It's spread out a little bit more now, but it used to be crazy how many people were there in Dallas Fort Worth that were crushing it. A lot of people fleeing the taxes and coming here. But anyway, can't start talking about politics at 1 minute into the call. But so, we're running this diamond group together. She's running it, like cracking that whip, got everything going. And so that's a lot of fun too. But so really excited to hear what she's got to say tonight. We're going to be recording this. I'll be posting it later, of course, but I've got my notes ready, and I want to respect your time, especially since we sat around for a few minutes already. But Joy, just take it away. I'm gonna mute myself and get ready to write.
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen. So go ahead and give me some screen share privileges there, Chris. My host. Oh, yay! We're live. Okay, good. Okay. Less chasing, more helping. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. And I'm super excited. I love interactive calls, so I'm going to make sure the chat is up. And if you have your video on, I ask that you be focused and try not to multitask, because the information that we're going to talk about tonight will be a game changer for your business if you implement it. And isn't that the key for anything that we learn, right? Like, we can be information hoarders and nothing will ever change, or we can actually take action on things that are going to help make us and our business better. So that's what I hope to bring to you guys tonight. And I'm really, really excited that Chris asked me to share with y'all, because I'm quite passionate about what I want to share with you tonight. It has changed my business for the better. It also has re-energized myself in the business. I've been a coach now for 6 years. And as you can imagine, after 6 years, I just found myself like, oh my gosh, I felt like I was getting into a rut, and this brought new life into the process and made it much more joyful for me. So I'm really excited to share with you. And Chris has been awesome to work with. I can't even tell you guys, like, the truth bombs that you must have on a daily basis and your team page have just got to be like epically awesome. So I wish I could take Chris and like adopt him into our team page so he could just drop all of his truth bombs like every single day, because our team would need it. But it's been really fun to team up on these projects with Chris, and I really appreciate him. You guys are connected to an incredible leader, and I really hope that you never take that for granted. So anyway, been a coach now for 6 years, 4-time elite, an 8-star diamond coach. And I mean, like, you could look up all the things, but I am a breast cancer survivor and a former leadership consultant for family ministries. I used to consult with churches across the United States for a nonprofit organization. Previous to that, I worked for physical churches. I was kind of that at-home mom looking for a little part-time job, and the church wanted to hire me as initially a children's worship director, and then that evolved to other things, and then I got hired by this nonprofit. And then 7 years later, I was still with this nonprofit, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm still making the same amount of money. Like, I have not had a raise in 7 years. I maybe had like a little, like 1 or 2% cost of living adjustment, but like, I didn't have a raise, y'all. And let me just tell you what, when you work for a nonprofit, you make a nonprofit salary. And so I'm heading into my later 30s, early 40s, and I'm just like, there's got to be more out there. Like, this cannot be it for me. And at that time, I was diagnosed with breast cancer and had a pretty horrible year trying to get through the other side of that. And when I got to the other side, I really had kind of like this life crisis where like I didn't feel like myself. I felt like an alien in my skin. Like I had been self-medicating with food, because who wouldn't when you've been diagnosed with cancer? We were in massive amounts of medical debt, not only from my experience, but my husband also a year prior went through atrial flutter, had care flight. So like we had crazy amounts of medical debt. And here I am working for this nonprofit organization who I really loved the mission of what they represented, but I did not feel challenged at all. And I'm a maximizer. So like, if I don't feel like I'm growing, I'm like checked out. So I had been looking for opportunity for years at this point, and all the doors would close. So I reached out to my mentor and dear friend, Stephanie, who I told no to for 7 years, you guys. Like, I literally threw away samples of Shakeology. I was a no way Jose kind of girl, because I had done a network marketing opportunity in my 20s. And that was back in the whiteboard days. Like there was no email or social media. Like it was belly to belly, and it was way different, and it was male dominated industry. And so like, I just was like, that ain't for me. And so here I am 7 years later, and just like every single person you interact with, they're gonna need what you have to offer at some point in their life. They're gonna go through a health crisis. They're gonna need to level up. They're gonna be sick and tired of their job. Like every single person that you touch at some point is gonna reconsider what it is you're talking to them about. And it took 7 years for me. And I reached out to her myself and I said, hey, I don't know what you're doing with this whole groupie thing, but that PIO program looks like something that I could use to get my strength back after breast cancer. So I jumped in. I shared about it on social media. You guys would laugh if you saw that post. It was literally 2 sentences. It's like I tagged Stephanie. I was like, Stephanie, did the first PIO workout. So glad my body works. Like it was no picture. It was not magical. And I had 3 friends reach out and say, hey, like, what is that thing you're doing? We would like to do that with you, because we've been praying for your family for years for you to get through all the hell. So we would like to do the fun part and work on ourselves while you do that too. So they jumped in. I reached out to Stephanie because I enrolled as a customer, and I was like, hey, like I got these referrals for you. I'm such a good friend. And she's like, hey, I don't really need the referrals. Why don't you enroll as a coach? Well, she called it a preferred customer at the time, but she said, why don't you enroll as a preferred customer and you can get the referral money back? I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking in my head, y'all, like, I'm sure you're not making a whole lot of money with that network marketing thing. Like, I'm trying to be a good friend. Like, here's a gift. And she assured me after a lot of convincing, I'm fine. Go ahead and enroll as a preferred customer and take the referral money. Well, y'all, that was like a huge blessing to me. That $200 that I think I got that month, that was like, oh my gosh, life-changing for me. And I went to go enroll as a preferred customer, and it said coach. And I immediately texted her. I'm like, Stephanie, it says coach, because I had said no. And she's like, same thing, like you're not obligated. You can cancel in 30 days. Just sign up and you'll get your referrals and it'll be fine. And I laughed as I was filling out this coach application, because I'm like, she tricked me. And she did it, right? But like, I'm just laughing. Like she finally got me, right? After 7 years of saying no, she tricked me into saying yes. She didn't trick me at all, but we joke about that to this day. So anyway, make a long story short, I fell in love with the group. I could see that this was a duplicatable system. There was training that suddenly she like put me in some email training thing. And I'm like, oh, what's this? And I would look at that, and I love personal development. So I was like, well, this is relatively simple. I just have to take action. And I started thinking about all the good that I could do, the impact I could have with this business. And I remember a conversation around the dinner table with Andrew, and I was like, what if this is a thing, like that I'm supposed to do, like that brings a lot of good to a lot of bad stuff in my life? And he's like, yeah, like, I don't know why you're debating. I think you should just do it. I think you'd be great. So we went all in. And so here I am 6 years later. And the biggest gift I gave myself in this business getting started was a commitment to be here a year from now. Like I knew, because I was involved in network marketing in my 20s, I knew the compounding income impact of this opportunity. And I knew that I had to give it consistent effort over time. That's what I had to commit to. So I never spent all that emotional energy. Have any of you guys like had that debate in your head? And you can tell me in the chat if you have. If you ever had that debate in your head, or like, oh gosh, like I don't know if I really want to do this, and you got one foot in and one foot out. I never did that. Never did that. I was like, I'm all freaking in. I'm all in. I'm going to do the thing. Stephanie would say, like, help 3 people this month. I'd be like, okay. And I didn't know where those 3 people would come, but I just started inviting the world because I figure like a no isn't cancer. No doesn't hurt like cancer. So like, who gives a crap about a no? Who gives a crap about a no? Like, I'm out here trying to help people not have cancer. So I'm totally fine bugging the crap out of people until either Jesus comes back or they go on to glory. Like, I just don't care. So that would be my recommendation to you all. Be here a year from now, go all in, and stop debating whether like it's going to be worth it. Just do the work. All right, let's talk about how we can make the work more fun. Anybody want to make the work more fun? Yes, I like that. Okay, how many of you have said this? And please tell me in the chat, like, I don't want to be a salesy person. How many of you have like, that's your primary, like, oh God, I just don't want to be a salesy person, you know, like that. What do we think of with salesy people, right? Like we think of that used car lot where like the guy kind of stalks you and, you know, points you toward a car that is a lemon that you don't really need, right? Like, you all have that picture in your mind, right? Like this is the photograph that we think of when we're like, I don't want to be salesy. I want you in the chat right now to write down some words that you think of when you are worried about being salesy. I know Moira, did I say that right? Moira, sorry if I
Mariah, that's fine.
Mariah, dang it. It's so beautiful. It deserves to be said correctly. But she says pressure, icky, don't want to come that way, don't want to be cringy. What are some other words that you guys think about when you think about somebody who's super salesy? Slimy, sneaky, pushy. Yeah, right? Annoying. All of those things. We don't want to be that at all. Annoying. Yeah, Cassandra, I totally get that. But I want you to also think about, when have you had a great sales experience? And how did that make you feel? Like, have you ever been to like a super fancy restaurant and the server like gives you their personal recommendations, and because they give you that personal recommendation, it was like like you had the perfect bottle of wine, you had the best meal, and then they came at the end and they were like, oh gosh, I hope you saved room for dessert because we've got this special thing tonight. And you're like, yes, give me the double layer chocolate, all the gooey, ooey caramel stuff, like bring it and bring me coffee. We never, ever get angry at somebody, right, who's serving us and looking out for our best interests, do we? Like, what do you think of when you think of a great sales experience? Like, have you ever had somebody, I'm horrible at shopping. I'm a mom of boys. And so like clothes shopping, believe it or not, is not my jam. Not my jam. I love the shop buckle. That's where I go primarily. They all know me. I know they're about to get a promotion when I walk into the store and they call me by name. That's an indication that they've been there long enough that they're going to be promoted. But I go in there and I'm like, help dress me. Please pick out all the clothes and help me look like I'm not a frumpy middle-aged woman. And they do, and I love them, right? And I feel like, oh man, like this is the best thing ever. So how do you feel when you have a great sales experience? You feel valued. You feel special. You feel like the experience is being crafted just for you, right? And so, I mean, what would it look like to bring that kind of Disney level experience, that Disney level customer service to the decision-making process that we have when we talk to someone about either the coaching opportunity or a challenge pack? I mean, have you really thought about the fact that, you know, all of us. And I was the same way. When we start as a coach, right? Every new coach starts the same way. What do? You make a list, you reach out to your warm market, and you invite them, right? And then we move from that initial stage to like, okay, reach out to every single person in the world and just like invite them right away, like cold invite right away, right? And you hear these ridiculous numbers, right, of some coaches, and I'm not knocking them. I mean, they have incredible success. So I'm really not knocking them, but I'm not the kind of person who's going to DM like 200 people a day. I'm just not, because that feels spammy to me. And so here we go in to our process, right? And we were like, the number one concern I have is that I don't want to feel salesy. And so what do? We then like turn into that like stalker person who's like constantly PMing people. And yes, we do follow up, but like, it's almost like a chase, right? And so tonight, less chasing, more helping is the goal. Does that sound good? So the foundational principle number one that I want to like give you guys is that the closing process, right? I want to help you guys have more success with less effort. I want to help you guys talk to less people, but have more success club points on the board. Wouldn't that be amazing? Like you get done with your work day and you're like, dang it, like I'm already done. Like I've already met success club by the 15th. Like I feel amazing. Like, wouldn't that be the dream right now, is to like work smarter, not harder? So I want you guys to realize that your closing process begins with your very first interaction with your prospect. Imagine that server coming to your table, right? If they ignored you for 15 minutes and then came here and slapped some water on the table and was like, give me your order, like you'd be like, wow, that's just, your tip is gonna suck. But if they take the time to like introduce them by themselves, you know, their name, and tell you about the specials, and would you like an appetizer, like obviously that's going to be a whole different experience. And the thing that you need to realize is that with every interaction you have with someone, they are asking themselves, even subconsciously, can I do that? Can I do that? Right? Would I understand like everything she's talking about? She just sent me like 5 paragraphs about all the things that I should know about this challenge pack. Would I be able to do that? So we have to figure out like, how can we simplify the process, make it more duplicatable and honoring for the person who is on the receiving end. So instead of like cold inviting, and I'm not saying, DJ, I see your cat and mouse there. Yes, I see that. Yeah, that's good. Instead of, and there's always, you know, a place for cold inviting. So I don't want to necessarily say like, I do invite people straight away. If they've been commenting or watching my video or watching my stories, like I will invite them straight up. But like, I'm talking about people in your warm market that you tend to ignore, like Facebook. Any of you intentionally ignoring your warm market because you feel like Instagram is easier? Please don't. Please don't. Please focus on your warm market and people who already know you before you venture into the cold market world. But like, what are some ways that you can genuinely reach out and connect with people without feeling salesy, without an agenda, with leading from the heart? I can tell you my ways, but I want to know if you guys have any ideas in the chat. What are some ways that you genuinely reach out to people and reestablish a connection with them that is authentic and from the heart without an agenda? Happy birthday. Yes, thank you, Chris. Yeah, happy birthday. I reach out to all of my birthdays the day before and I'm like, hey, I just want to be the first person to wish you a happy birthday. And because I'm faith-based, I ask them, is there anything I can pray about for you for your birthday? Like, how are you doing? Happy birthdays, asking what they did, reaching out to people who've just gotten their babies, married, sharing excitement. Yeah, it's being a human being, right? It's not only, you know, seeing people and commenting on their posts, but like getting a private message to them and just being like, hey, that really meant a lot to me, what you just shared. That was really brave of you to share that, right? It's little things like happy birthdays or anniversaries or, hey, I was just thinking about you. Those are the things that we need to be doing a lot of. So here's an example, and I'm sure this is not rocket science to you guys, but like, here's an example of a couple connects that I typically use, right? So in a regular non-COVID life, I would just be like, hey, like you popped up in my feed today. I just thought I would catch up in what's going on. I probably need to own the fact that I was a creeper on your wall for a hot minute. Like I'm making light of the fact that like I just stalked them for the last 5 minutes. You probably saw a few comments under your post as I was catching up. Love the family photos. Were those taken in Texas or Florida? Like ask a question, try to get the conversation flowing. In COVID land, though, obviously we have a lot of life circumstances happening. So I tend to err on the side of like, hey, like, I thought I'd reach out and just say hello. Like, how are you feeling with everything going on? And genuinely, you guys, I really do want to know. I don't have an agenda at this point to like sell them anything. I really want to know, like, do you have a job? Are you able to work at home? Like, is your family okay? Is like COVID affecting you? Like, how are you guys doing? And I think we need to kind of have that filter when we go out into the world so that we don't become that spammy, salesy person. But here's what we used to do and we've gotten away from a lot as a network is teaching you guys about FORM. Has anyone heard the acronym FORM? Yes, good. So if you haven't heard of the acronym FORM, FORM is just a way that you can think about things to talk about in conversation so that you don't get to the punchline right away, if that makes sense. It kind of protects you from yourself. In other words, we're so excited about what it is that we want to talk to them about, whether it's coaching or challenge group, that we tend to like word vomit all over everyone. Well, FORM just gives some breathing room to like being a human again, right? So like, especially in live events or live gatherings where I'm meeting new people, I use FORM all the time because I'm like, I don't know what to say, you know? All right, let's talk about family. Like, how's your family? Let's talk about occupation. Like, are you working from home? Let's talk about recreation. Are they trying to get out and travel at all during this time? And then after you've kind of had this like game of tennis, conversation tennis on the third serve, you can then take control of the conversation and move it into your message, whether it is you want to invite them to consider coaching or whether you want to invite them to the challenge group. So far, this should all feel very review or very like foundational, right? Like these are all good principles that we have learned so far. So when I take control of the message or the invite, here's an example of what I would say. I know this is a little out of the blue, right? Like I'm making a hard right into an invite. I know this is a little out of the blue, but we have a group ramping up this month focused on fitness and not eating all the COVID snacks. Ha ha ha. Would you like to possibly join us? If we're going to be stuck in this situation for another month, we might as well have the vacation ready bod because Lord knows we're all booking a flight to Cabo after. So here's the new information that I want to give to you guys tonight. All right. We have to get the foundation to make sure everyone's like approaching it correctly. So someone says, oh my gosh, girl, yes, I need to do something. I've gained 15 pounds during COVID. Help me. This is where I have stopped selling through Messenger or texting or email or any of it. And I set up, wait for it, a Zoom call. Yes, a video call just like this, which the first time I did it, I was so nervous. I pitted out my shirt. You know, anytime you do something new, you will be nervous about it, but I promise you, this is going to give you such a higher rate of return on your time. And the person in front of you is going to feel so much more valued. So what I say to them, and this part, I never deviate from. I never deviate from these words. I actually have it as a text shortcut in my my phone. But basically I say, that's so awesome. Like what I normally do, or what I usually do, is set up a time to chat. We would go over your health goals, a little bit about Beachbody and the most popular packages. My part's going to take about 30 minutes. You don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, I will get you started and we'll order it right away. Is that something you're open to? How does that feel in the chat? How does that feel? Professional. Yes. Also, I gave them a time frame, right? Like we're going to talk for 30 minutes. So they know my part's going to take 30 minutes. So if they're type A like me, they're like, okay, I can fit in a 30-minute block of time. Yes. Or if they're a real chatty Cathy, I already did a disclaimer that says my part's going to take 30 minutes, but like depending on how much you chat, it could go longer, right? What else did I do by saying, hey, you don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, you guys can unmute and talk. It's okay. I gave them an out, right? Took the pressure off. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm genuinely trying to help them. I'll help people for free. I don't care, right? So now their defenses are completely lowered, right? And they'll be like, yeah, I'm totally open to that. I very rarely have someone say no to this. Very rarely. Most oftentimes, I'd say 95 or more % of the time, they're like, yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you. So I give them 2 time slots to choose from. Awesome. I have 10 a.m. on Wednesday or 1 p.m. on Thursday open right now. What works best for you? So if you're taking notes right now, I want you to write down 2 time slots, not 10, 2. You're also not going to say, well, what does your schedule look like this week? Why? Because if I'm feeling overwhelmed in life and I know I need to make changes for my healthy life, and you ask me like, what does my schedule look like? I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't know. And I'm going to start going through all the things on my calendar that are going to keep me from wanting to say yes to this appointment. But if you give me 2 options, I'm going to look at my calendar and I'll be like, oh, look, I'm open at 10, but not at 1 on Thursday. I will take the 10 on Wednesday. 2 options. Okay. Awesome. I've got you down. What email can I use to send the calendar appointment to and my Zoom link? Why is this so important? Why is this part so flippin' important? Building your email list. Yes. Yes. So now they know it's going to be a Zoom. I have their email. I'm building my list. Okay. Sent. One last thing. Would it be doable? And I will give you a link to all of this, so don't worry. Would it be doable to fill out this short questionnaire before our call? It helps me know about your goals and preferences so that I can tailor our time to you. It should take less than 5 minutes. Link to form. Okay. Now, here's a snapshot, and I'll make sure you guys have a link to all this, but here's a snapshot of my form. So what this does is it gives them a little video to watch about Beachbody On Demand, so they have some background on that. It asks them about how their preferences on exercise, their willingness to invest in a fitness and or nutrition program, right? So I'm already letting them know, hey, like our programs range anywhere from like $39 a quarter to discounted bundles that are $160 to $220, depending on what your needs are. Are you willing to invest in yourself? So I'm getting the buy-in right away before the call even happens. And then I'm asking them all sorts of questions about their personal preferences and their journey, right? I'm looking for the problem to solve. How's your digestive health? How's your stress? What's your sleep? How's your level of confidence, right? Do you struggle with any of the following? Brain fog, irritability, sluggishness, cravings? Like I'm just creating a pathway for Shakeology to be a solution to something in their life. I even asked them like, hey, which nutrition program is most like your personality? So I know going in if they're more of a ultimate portion fix or to be mindset kind of person. Okay. I also asked them, hey, we have a wholesale membership option. Are you interested in getting your product for free or earning some extra money through our referral program? So you'll have people who say yes to that. You're like, I had no idea they were interested in that. So you already are vetting whether they want to be a retail customer or a coach when they enroll. All right. Foundational principle number 2, people are not looking for products or opportunities. They are looking for solutions to their problems. Okay. You are helping people. You're not selling people. Okay, you got to find what their problem is in order to solve it. So for this part, I need a volunteer. Who is super brave to unmute?
I mean, I'm not super brave, but I'll unmute.
I love it. Okay, I can't see your name, but what is your name?
Mariah. It's Mariah.
Okay, you are Mariah. Okay, sorry. All right, Mariah, you're going to be my client, and this is going to be our call. All right, so like I mentioned earlier, Mariah, we're going to go over your health goals today, a little bit about Beachbody and or Shakeology and some of the most popular packs. So my part's going to take about 30 minutes. And I want to reassure you, you don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, I'm going to help you order it today. How does that sound?
Good.
Okay, cool. What did I just get her to commit to?
Listening and looking at solutions.
Yes, and if she sees something she likes, when is she going to order it?
Today.
Yeah.
Today. I got her to say, yes, I will order it today. Okay, so Mariah, what do you want to make sure we go over today?
Oh, I'm not scripted. My nutrition is all over the place. I'm so busy with my kids. I just can't seem to make time for anything. I'm super overwhelmed and I have no idea where to start.
Okay. We can totally talk about that and how to like manage your time. But why don't you tell me, I know you filled out the form and that was super helpful, but I find that people share a little bit more about their goals when we talk face to face. So why don't you tell me about your current health and fitness goals for you and your family?
Well, I still haven't lost the baby weight after my youngest is 5 and I'm exhausted all the time. I'm a night nurse and I just feel like a zombie constantly. So I have no motivation to exercise. I just feel like I yell at my kids all the time because I'm tired and impatient and don't feel good. My relationship with my husband is like, just feels like roommates because I don't feel attractive. And, again, I'm just tired all the time. So I'd like to see my kids eating healthier, my husband eating healthier. And I know that I need to make a change because I just can't keep living like this.
Okay. What else?
I don't know. I think I need to like stop snacking at night and I don't know. I just need to figure out a way to fit exercise in. I always end up quitting. Like after a couple weeks, it's too hard. I try to cut out desserts. I've tried to go low carb, and I just end up getting hangry and like ruining everything when I binge.
Yeah, I totally get that. What else?
Well, I've been really active in the past. I've done some classes at a gym. I just don't have time. And I was missing dinner times and bedtimes. I live in a really rural area, so it takes me a long time to get to the gym. And I just wasn't able to be consistent enough with those classes and stuff to see any results. Plus, I have a feeling that my portions are way out of control. I have no idea like how much to eat of anything. I do like veggies. I grew up in a really picky household, but I've been trying more things. But yeah, I just basically need energy. I take naps every day in the afternoon, a couple hours usually. I just can't keep my eyes open after lunch.
Okay. Understandable. What else?
I think that's pretty much where I'm at. I don't really know where to go from here.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So did you guys notice, like, I just let her talk, right? So my encouragement to you is like, when you ask someone about their health and fitness goals, let them just talk, listen actively, take notes, and continue to ask what else until they're like, I think that's about it, right? So I'm sure Mariah was like, oh my gosh, I got nothing else to say, right?
I was.
But what have I done? Like there's a little saying in this business that the less you say, the more money you will make. So I am trying to listen very actively for all the problems, right? So when she's done and she's like, I really think that's it, I transition the conversation like, okay, I have a couple ideas, but tell me, like, what do you already know about Shakeology and or Beachbody? So go ahead, Mariah. What do you already know about Shakeology and or Beachbody?
So the Mariah, when she first started, would have said absolutely nothing. I've never heard of it before.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So what I would say then is I would take one of these approaches to explaining Shakeology and or Beachbody. Okay. So for example, earlier you mentioned, Mariah, that you are really struggling with energy. I know you said you are a night nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure like trying to even get a break for a meal is so difficult. So that's what Shakeology is for. It's that thing that you can just like blend up and go, and it's going to keep you full, satisfied, full of energy. And you don't have to take a ton of time or a big break while you're working in order to just like fuel up, while you're on duty. And remember how like you were saying earlier, you mentioned you love the gym, you love the classes, but you were just having a really hard time trying to fit it into your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what like Beachbody On Demand is for. Like it is that on-demand fitness solution. Like you don't have to wait for a class to start. You can just like get it done in the comfort of your home whenever is good for you. So you're going to have so much better results because you're going to be able to get it done. So the other approach that you can kind of take when you explain like the purpose, because they don't care about what like Beachbody's been around since they don't care about all that. They don't care that Shakeology has 70 different superfoods. They care about like, how is it going to solve a problem in my life? So I use this approach a lot. It's called Have You Ever? So have you ever been in a situation where you were running to a soccer game and you didn't have time to eat? So like you were going through the drive-thru. I mean, like I used to have more chicken nuggets on my floor than imaginable. But Shakeology is that thing that's going to keep you out of the drive-thru. It's that thing that I could just grab on the go while I was on the way to the soccer game, and like I didn't have to eat the chicken nuggets and fries. So thank God, like it keeps me out of the drive-thru. Or have you ever found yourself hangry and yelling at the kids? Like I know you just said that you like lose your cool all the time. Well, Shakeology is going to be that thing that helps you not lose it, because you could just grab it and go, and it prevents that hangry monster from showing up. Okay. No, so I feel like that can be so hard to say less, especially when they don't know anything about Beachbody. Yes. So like, yeah, they don't need to know all about Beachbody. You're going to show them anyway, but like, they just need to know a little snippet. You don't have to do all of these. You just have to do like 1 or 2 scenarios. Approach number 3, like you might not use this every day, but you'll be glad you'll have it when. I use this approach for especially people who love the gym, but they want to get their nutrition in line. So I say, well, Beachbody On Demand is that like on-demand fitness solution. You might not use it every day, but you're going to be so glad you have it when you can't make it to your gym class, right? Or performance line, like you might not use the performance line. Like let's say they're like on the form, they're like, I am anti-smoothies. And you're like, all right, fine, I'll go performance line route. So you're like, well, the Energize is our pre-workout and the BCAAs Recover is our post-workout. And you might not use it every day, but you're going to be so glad you have it when you do, because the pre-workout is going to help you give more effort to your workout and give you insane mental clarity. And the post-workout is going to help you not be so sore so that you're not crying while you go to the bathroom. Okay? Do you guys see how that is so simple? So choose one of these approaches in your conversation. Earlier you mentioned, have you ever? You might not use this every day, but you'll be glad you have it when. Then I transition to a video of some sort typically. So I will say to them, let me show you something super quick. Most of the people who I attract are Tubi Mindset Bunnies. So I literally will screen share this video, the Tubi Mindset video, and I'm going to be like, this is Alana. She's so darling. She's our registered dietitian nutritionist. She has a private practice in Beverly Hills and has lost 100 pounds herself. It's so crazy. She explains this so much better than I ever could. So we're just going to watch this together. I know that's super hokey, but it's just a lot more simple, and she explains it so much better. So at the end, I'm going to ask you what you liked most about what you heard. And I literally play the 5-minute and 40-second video, y'all. But let me ask you, if someone's asking like, could I do this? Could they share a video? Yes, they can. They don't have to know all about the program. They just saw that there's a video that does all that. I'm not the expert, she is. And you never want to put yourself in the position of being the expert. You're the guide. You're the guy that's like, look, there's an expert. They can help, right? So foundational principle number 3, when done properly, closing should always be a demonstration of caring. So we watch the To Be Mindset video or some other third-party tool, and I will be like, what'd you like most about that? And they will tell me. So I'm basically reinforcing all the things that they need and like about what they just heard, right? So at this point, I'm like, awesome, that's so great. Yes, I love the fact that it's not calorie-based either, and that it's super simple and like no restrictions. It's like literally, I call it food freedom. It's awesome. Let me show you a couple options to get started with To Be Mindset, all right? So I literally will, again, screen share. I already have their email. I already know if they want to enroll as a customer or a coach. So I literally build a share cart right there with them. And I will be like, okay, there's some ways that, like, did y'all know? Well, now it's all changed because everything's included in the kitchen sink with our bundles, which is so awesome. But like, you know, you also are going to be surveying them in your form about like, do you want pre-workout? Do you want beach bars? Are you interested in collagen? Da, 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 da. Like, so now if they're interested in any of that stuff, you're building a cart. And I give them 2 options. Why? 2 reasons. I don't want them to say yes or no. I want them to say A or B. That's reason number 1. Okay? You don't want them to say yes or no. You want them to say A or B. Reason number 2. There are purchasing habits, right? Like there are some people out there who are always going to buy the most expensive thing. And there are other people out there who are always going to buy the cheapest thing. You don't know which one they are. Why are you assuming they always want the cheapest thing? I've had people who I thought would do like just the basic challenge pack and they wound up with like a $250 cart with all the add-ons. And I'm like, score. So give them 2 options and ask them, okay, so what works best for you and your family? Because like, if you're going to help them, you might as well plant those seeds about helping their family too, right? So now they're thinking about beach bars, not just for them, but like their kids who are constantly eating the cookies at 9 o'clock at night, right? Is this clicking? Everyone like, all right, good. So they tell me option A, option B, and I say, okay, awesome, here comes your share cart. It's coming to you by email. And when you finish that today, I'll then get you added to our group page and send you a welcome email. But what we need to do before we get off the call is schedule your getting started call where I walk you through the first 30 days. So here's a principle I learned from my first network marketing experience back in my 20s. You always book a meeting from a meeting. You always book a meeting from a meeting because this is going to give them that deadline to finish their share cart. So we pull up the calendar. I give them how many options? 2. I give them 2 time slots and I'm like, we're going to walk through your first 30 days so you have a complete plan and you're not overwhelmed. Because guys, the more time you take to onboard them this way, the more retention you are going to experience, right? So I give them 2 time slots. They choose their time slot. I book it on my calendar. 9 times out of 10, they finish their cart like that. Like that. I don't have to chase them. There are a couple that I'm like, all right, what did the link work? But for the most part, most of them are finishing their share cart like that. If I can book a meeting, if I can get them on one of these appointments, my closing rate is like 95%. It's crazy. Why? Because I'm honoring the person in front of me instead of treating them like some spam bot message thing. So here's your link. I'll make sure Chris has it. But this is like literally the entire process from invite to forming to what I say in a call to a recording of a mock call I did with our team so that you can see like exactly what I say and all of it. So yeah. this has brought so much joy into the process of talking to people about what we do. And I hope it will change what you do too. Now, I will tell you, in any kind of shift in approach that for your business, never abandon what's working immediately for something brand new. Phase this in. So if you've got something that is like working for you, getting to Success Club, keep doing that while also phasing this in. Don't ever just like abandon what's working. But I will tell you, the more you get good at having these appointments and doing face-to-face Zoom calls, the higher your conversion rate will be. And you won't have to like send 200 messages to hit Success Club 20. You just won't. So anyway, that's all I got. Back to you, Chris.
I posted a couple questions in the chat, and I just realized I wasn't muted, so probably everybody was listening to me pound away while you were closing.
Did you try pasting the share cart link in the chat during the call? You know, I haven't done that. Only because like I just don't want to sit there while they're pulling out their credit card and doing all that. I guess you could, but I always, you know, just send them the link and tell them it's going to be an email, and then I copy the link and put it in the text or messenger thread or however I've been talking to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wondered if maybe you had tried that and it didn't work, and so that's why you did it this way. And so the other question I had was, is this what you're doing for coaches and customers, or pretty much?
This is primarily for customers, but I do get on a Zoom call for coaches, and I do ask them some similar questions about, you know, their goals and why they think they would. I do an interview, why would they be a good fit? You know, what are they looking more for in their life? Like those kind of things. And then, you know, you can segue into what do you know about Beachbody and coaching? Like you can pretty much do the same thing. Just kind of tweak it for the coaching piece. There's a book. The reason why I didn't think about this by myself, by the way, there's a gal who came and did a call for us. Her name is Tasha Smith, and she has a book that's super cheap. It's called Customer First. You can find it on Amazon. And she basically did sales training for us. Like she's like, let's teach you how to do sales the right way instead of doing sales the like, I'm just going to wing it way. And this has been a game changer for just the whole process. The forms you're having them fill out, is that the form you made on your own, or is that through a website? It is a Google form, and it's also in that document that I shared with you, the link. I can post the link here. Hold on a second. There you go. I give it all away, y'all. That's the best thing about this network, is that like the more success that you experience, the more you will be surrounded by people who genuinely want you to be successful. There is no competition here. Like we all are for each other. We all are on the same team. And I know that feels really counterintuitive, but it's just so beautiful. It's so dang beautiful.
You know, I agree with you 100% about that. And it's funny where I'm like, you know, you really can't be a rotten person and be a successful Beachbody coach either. It just doesn't work. I love a lot of that stuff. I got my notes here, and I haven't tried that. It's funny, the call that I'm supposed to have tomorrow, actually, I even messaged her while you were talking, because first of all, she was like, she's local, and she's like, hey, when can we have lunch? And I was like, it's not really how things work these days, you know, for a few reasons. But and she's like, well, you know, how about then a video call? Because I just really think that things are getting lost in chat. And I was like, okay, sure. You know, I don't do that, but we'll give it a shot. And then the next day or the same day, you're like, you know what really works well is video calls. You guys should try that. So I'm optimistic that that's going to go well. I'm going to have to follow this link here and go through these forms and not lose them. Like I made a form a while back, and I have to message Mariah and be like, hey, you have that form that I sent you like 7 months ago? Because I looked through our chat and I can't find it, and apparently I have 2 Google form sites or something. I don't know, because it's me and tech. But okay. So yeah, DJ's talking about video calls. All right. Well, any questions, guys?
I just wanted to say thank you so much, because I am about 5 years in and I'm feeling exactly how you said that you were feeling. Like, clearly warm markets, like, done. I was just starting to feel like I was signing people up just to sign people up. I didn't feel like I was getting them started right. I felt like I was losing my integrity with the business. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, is this what I want to do? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And it just wasn't feeling right. So then I wasn't taking action. And then that vicious cycle starts, where then you start to fear taking action and you're not seeing numbers. So that, feeds into the fear. And video calls scare the crap out of me. But I think, if it means getting people started right, and really sharing that genuine, like, I care that we're fixing your problems, and I'm not just like throwing a blanket and, hoping that something sticks and hoping that you stick around. I've been focusing so much on retention and like loving the people that I have in my circle right now, like sending little gift cards to the coaches and customers that have been with me for the last 5 years. And like, why haven't I done this before? So I'm just in a kind of a new season of growth, and this was really perfect.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, you'll be able to focus more on, like, instead of oh my gosh, I have to do 50 invites this week, you're going to focus on, I need to have 3 appointments, right? And that's so different. That is such a different way to approach your business, because once you have 3 appointments, right? 3 appointments this week, that's Success Club 6 if you have a high closing rate. So it's like, now you've got, like, it's crazy, you guys. I almost feel guilty because it's so much less work for a greater return. I'm not sending massive amounts of invites anymore because they're a higher quality of conversation. Anyway, I'm really excited for you to experience that then. It'll give you new life.
All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for showing up and for listening. I hope you took great notes. The form, I'll put it in Team Pan so you guys can access it there, and tell the rest of the folks that weren't there they need to watch this call, because I think this was really one of the best calls we've had in a long time, and I'm excited to see this go through the team. Thank you very much, Joy, and thanks everybody else. See you next time.
Bye.